Good morning, everyone. Sports fans, welcome to another edition of the Sports Memo and Wager Talk, new show, family affair. We're making sports betting history as never before on any panel, as there have been 4 family members. I'm honored to be here with. Let's bring them on. It's a good-looking bunch, guys. The First Lady of Las Vegas, Dionne D'Amico. We're happy to have the pen back, Ralph Michaels. He was missed last week. And our good buddy, Jeff Michaels. Let me start with Dionne. Dionne, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Ralph Michaels, you were really missed last week. I got to tell you, not just by our viewers, but by the rest of the panel. We're glad you're here. How are you today?
Doing great. Happy birthday, Dionne. And I do want to mention one special. This is one of the biggest weekends I've ever had at Wager Talk. For only the second time in the 5 years I've been at Wager Talk, I have a 5% for Saturday and 5% on Sunday. You can get 3 days, tonight, Saturday, and Sunday, for just $39. Go to my homepage. Use code RM20 off the 3-day discount, and you're getting both 5% Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the same cost as 1 day, $39.
Great stuff from Ralph, and he was missed last week. Jeff Michaels, good morning. How are you today?
Good. Good morning, guys. Happy birthday, Dionne. And I've gotten into the habit now that I have to keep mine handy too. So Mr. Penn may not have been here last week, but the pen was here. But glad to see you back, Dad.
Well, I will certainly say it runs in the family, and we love you, Jeff. Guys, before we go any further, Ralph mentioned it. Happy birthday to the First Lady of Las Vegas, Dionne D'Amico. Dionne, everybody here at Sports Memo, Ralph, Jeff, and everybody at Sports Memo and Wager Talk families wish you a happy birthday. I've gotten tons of messages, but from your husband, your soulmate, your partner, I love you, baby. Health, happiness, peace, and laughter. God bless. Well, I love my wife, guys. Now, real quick, we love you, baby. Real quick, guys, we've got a great show in store for you. We're going to have our very popular 4-team Underdog Moneyline Parlay, 4 roundtable games, our best bet segment. But first, we want you to do what? Hit that subscribe button, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, this fall, we are going to revolutionize the sports betting industry with our video content. You don't want to miss a thing. That's happy birthday, Dionne. Hit the subscribe button. Guys, we're going to leave that up. My friends, the customer appreciation over at Sports Memo and Wager Talk, unrivaled. We know that saving you money just as good as making you money. So after the show, go over to sportsmemo.com and wagertalk.com. Take advantage of all those great discounts available right now. Also, real quick, guys, I've got to say it. Every successful professional sports bettor and sports handicapper I know, and I know them all, use the Gold Sheet, the most respected of all the betting newsletters. Go over to www.goldsheet.com and use what the pros use. Now, guys, before we get into free plays, this has become a popular portion of this show, and we get a lot of comments on it. Every week, obviously, when the numbers come out in college and pro football, the lines move. We know this. Weather, injuries, the general public move lines. But my good friends over at one of my favorite sports books, the Superbook at the Westgate, they wanted me to make you aware of where the smart money, the sharp money, the wise guys have moved the lines specifically. So real quick, a bunch of college, a couple of pros I want to make you aware of. Guys, very quickly, the wise guys moved Virginia at Syracuse. They went on Syracuse from 10.5 down to 9. Iowa State, they betted up 3 points against Baylor from pick up to 3. Eastern Michigan against Buffalo, they bet that up from 4.5 to 6. New Mexico State against Hawaii. Guys, they are fading Hawaii. They went from 3 up to 4.5. And this is an interesting matchup. It may be under the radar, but I got to tell you, I expect a lot of handle on this game. Louisiana Monroe versus Lafayette. They're betting Lafayette. They bet it from 11 down to 9. On the NFL side, guys, 2 major wise guy line movements they wanted me to make you aware of. The Browns at the Steelers. Oh, obviously, that was last night. The Browns at the Steelers, but they bet that up. And I got to tell you, they could probably still took a beating on it. And then the Panthers versus the Saints. That was strictly a wise guy move from 3 down to 2.5. So we'll see if that floats back up to 3. Without any further ado, guys, we're going to go into a very popular portion of the show, our Underdog Moneyline Parlay. I missed him last week. I know you did too. I'm glad he's back. He makes my day. He makes my Friday. Ralph Michaels, who is doing some great work over at Wager Talk. He's got some things he wants to tell you about. I mean, he's got a couple of 5% this weekend. He's got a great discount. But we're going to go right into the Underdog Moneyline Parlay. Ralph, the floor is yours, buddy.
I'm going to make it simple. I'm going against one of those line moves, and I'm going to take Baylor as the first leg of our Moneyline Parlay. Yeah, they're traveling on the road. They went to BYU. They got some of those road jitters out. I think they have a better rush attack. Iowa State, clearly the better numbers. Baylor's had their had their number the last couple of years with close wins. I think Baylor gets another close win. First leg, the Baylor Bears.
Sports fans, the first leg of the Underdog parlay by Ralph Michael says the Baylor Bears. Let's go to the first lady of Las Vegas who, believe it or not, man, over the last 6 or 7 weeks on all the shows here, her free plays are hitting like 80%. If her free plays are making you money, what do you think our premium plays are going to do for you over at Sports Memo? Dionne, we want your Underdog money line parlay play. Take it away.
Thank you. For my Underdog money line play, I'm going to talk about the James Madison Appalachian State game. These two teams know each other very well from when they both played in the FCS. But this will be the first time James Madison and Appalachian State will go up against one another as FBS opponents. Guys, I know this Mountaineers team very well. As a matter of fact, I've been very successful with them over the last 2 or 3 seasons. However, this is a different Appalachian State team this season. They look their playmaker as experienced at both sides of the ball. They opened the season by going to the mat with North Carolina, losing a heartbreaker 63-61. They followed that up with a very good showing against what we thought at the time was a very good Texas A&M team. Well, now we know that the Aggies aren't such a powerhouse. And then last week, they had problems squeaking out a 4-point victory over Troy as a 14-point favorite. On the other hand, James Madison, they're 2-0, both straight up and against the spread this season. Granted, Middle Tennessee State and Norfolk State are not the toughest of opponents. But looking back a bit, this is a team, though, over the last few seasons that, when stepped up in class, have been very competitive. Remember something, the Dukes are not available to go to the postseason this year. So each one of their step-up games, they're going to go out of their way and be extra motivated. Dual threat quarterback Todd Centio is a monster. He's thrown for over 450 yards, 9 TDs, and 0 INTs, while running for another 139 yards on the ground. He has an arsenal of receivers at his disposal and a great rushing attack as well. I feel Appalachian State is overrated and they shouldn't be a touchdown favorite in this matchup. After all, they have failed to cover the last 4 games played at home and are just 1-5 ATS the last 6 games overall. I like JMU to win this one outright.
Sports fans, the first lady of Las Vegas says JMU wins the game outright. They're plus 230. I think that's the biggest money line value so far that we're going to have on the parlay. But really good breakdown, Dionne. Great analysis. Let's go to Jeff Michaels, who's doing great work over at Sports Memo. I know Jeff and I talk a lot during the week. He is very excited about his Underdog money line play today. Jeff, the floor is yours, buddy.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. Yeah, guys, for the first time in our young history of this show, I'm going to the NFL for my my Underdog money line parlay, excuse me. And I'm looking at the Broncos this weekend. They actually opened this game as a favorite against the 49ers. And what I'm looking at is really that 49ers defense. I mean, Shanahan, they don't have the history in the early part of the season. They're just 16-24 straight up under Shanahan in the first half of the season. But what really caught my attention is their inability to string together these impressive defensive performances. I mean, last week they allowed less than 50 rushing yards and they allowed 9 or less points. And they're just 6-19 against the spread after holding somebody to that rushing total. And they're 12-27 on the road after allowing 9 or less points in their previous game. But both these teams actually have a defense that have been pretty impressive. I think this is the big opportunity for Russell Wilson. He's coming back. He's got a second home game on his new team. He hasn't been able to create that dominance on the offensive side that he once had in Seattle, but their defense has been just as good as San Fran. I think this one comes down to the end of the game, and I'm backing Russ in that situation. I think Russ has a little more experience, and I think only time will really tell what Jimmy G can do for this team. So I'm backing Russell Wilson and the Broncos as the underdog this week on my leg of the parlay.
Great stuff from Jeff Michaels, guys. One of the best young minds in sports betting today. He says the Broncos. Great stuff, Jeff. That's what we come to expect from you. We love you. We know why you are a fan favorite here. Guys, as far as I am going today, I'm excited. I've been very successful over the years with underdog money lines, and I think I've hit 2 of my 3 so far on this show. Let's go to an SEC matchup, man. I am very excited about this game. Arkansas Razorbacks, they travel to AT&T Stadium to take on Texas A&M Aggies. One of the most pleasant surprises so far this college football campaign. has been the Razorbacks. They started the season by getting a winning cover over Cincinnati at home. They followed that up the following week at home again against South Carolina. They did take their foot off the gas a little bit last week, guys, to get a win and no cover against Missouri State. Pump the brakes. Don't read too much into that, folks. They were in look-ahead mode and had a lead through the third quarter. They took their foot off the gas. They took out some of their starters. They had the game in the bag. So I will say that. On the other hand, many people thought that Texas A&M would be a dark horse for the college football playoff this season. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, Aggies fans. To say this team was overrated would be an understatement. They're having trouble moving the ball, lacking both an air attack and a ground assault. While the Razorbacks defense has allowed a lot of points, I just don't see the Aggies offense scoring too much here, guys. I know. Texas A&M has a good defense. They are the 10th ranked pass defense in the country. But my friends, this game is not about the Arkansas passing game. It is about their potent and explosive rushing attack. This is a team running for nearly 250 yards per game, and they will absolutely steamroll the 82nd ranked Texas A&M run defense. Having that potent rushing attack will allow the Razorbacks to control the clock and the tempo in this matchup. They'll keep the Aggies defense on the field, and by the second half, they will be backpedaling and gasping for air. Mark my words. This game is going to get ugly come the second half. The Razorbacks have covered 4 straight in this series. They're 8-1 ATS the last 9 in the month of September, 5-1-1 the last 7 overall. They are money. They're going to win this game outright. Take the Razorbacks, guys. Let me bring our good-looking panel back up here. I want to run these down real quick for everybody. We'll do it again at the end of the show, so have no fear. Our good buddy Ralph said the Baylor Bears, they're plus $1.15. The first lady of Las Vegas, Dionne D'Amico, says James Madison Dukes plus 230. Our good buddy Jeff Michaels, the Broncos plus 105. And your host Joe D says the Razorbacks plus 110. Just FYI, $100 wager on this 4-teamer will bring you back nearly $3,000, $2,954.40. Guys, this is a winner this week. Ralph and I, we were sprinting to the sportsbook to try to get this bet down, guys. Guys, don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more in store for you. We're going to go into our roundtable segment. And like I said, we have 2 college and 2 pro games to go over. So without any further ado, our first roundtable game, let me bring it on up here, guys, is Clemson at Wake Forest, Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern. The Tigers are 7.5 and 57. This line did go from 7 to 7.5 just yesterday. So let's go to the first lady of Las Vegas, Dionne D'Amico. Dionne, the floor is yours.
Both teams are 3-0 heading into this matchup, and they should be, as neither one has really been challenged yet. Wake Forest, their offense is mainly coming from quarterback Sam Hartman, but their defense has been less than stellar. I know there's a lot of talk about DJ Uiagalelei, that he's just a subpar quarterback, but he doesn't need to be a flashy or make big plays himself on a defense scheme like the Tigers have, and a defense as ferocious as the Tigers possesses. Plus, they are also expected to have standout defensive tackle Brian Bresee back on the field. Clemson has also won their first 3 games by combined 82 points. And let's not forget, the Tigers beat the Demon Deacons last year 48-27. They've also won 13 straight in this series, including 10 in a row by at least 14 points. I'm going with Clemson in this one, but buy it down to 7 just to be on the safe side.
The first lady of Las Vegas says she's going with Clemson, but buy it down just to err on the side of caution. Great minds think alike. Dionne, great breakdown. Guys, I'm going to break this game down right now. This really did stand out to me right away, and it still may make it as a premium play by tonight, which will be Friday night over at Sportsman. Say what you want about DJ Uiagalelei, but the Clemson Tigers are 3-0. They opened up the campaign with a conference winning cover at Georgia Tech. Then at home, they beat Furman and Louisiana Tech straight up, but didn't cover either outing. Pump the brakes again, guys. This may worry many people out there who are looking to maybe bet Clemson. However, it doesn't worry me, and I'm going to tell you why. It tells me that the Tigers took their foot off the gas the last few weeks, but they're looking to make a statement in their conference play. No, their quarterback is not exciting or explosive, but with this team, you don't really have to have a big play quarterback at all. They can move the change on the ground, pass off the run with 5-yard dink and dunks. I'm showing my age there. Dink and dunks over the middle. DJ knows that Cade Klubnik is right over his shoulder. If he can't get the job done, that's going to further motivate the more experienced play caller. We're hearing a lot about the Wake Forest passing attack. Yes, they're averaging over 300 yards per game in the air, but who the heck have they played, guys? VMI, Vandy, and Liberty, they're not formidable foes. Say that 10 times quickly. None of those teams measure up defensively like the defense they're going to face here this weekend. Once again, this season, the Tigers stop unit, outstanding. The news this week is that they give up yardage in the air and that this is not a good matchup for them with the Demon Deacons. Well, they shut down the Yellow Jackets in their season opener 41-10. I expect their defense to frustrate and smother the Wake Forest offense here big time. Understand that there's a conference game, and the Tigers want everyone in their conference to know that they own the ACC. Clemson has taken the last 10 meetings in this rivalry straight up. They've covered 3 of the last 4. Now, I could tell you that the average margin of victory was huge in each of those wins. Let me just use last year's meeting as an example. I think the First Lady mentioned it. The Tigers had their way with the Deacons, 48-27. Their D is better this season. Clemson, 4-0 ATS the last 4 conference games, 4-0. The last 4 road games, 12-5. The last 17 road games versus teams with a winning record. This line is currently floating at 7.5. Great minds think alike, Dionne. I would buy it down to err on the side of caution, but I definitely have a lean on the Tigers here. If this moves down to 7 again, and I do think it might, I just may put it up as a premium play. Guys, let's go over to our panel. We've got another roundtable game in the college realm. So the next roundtable game we're going to be covering, my friends, Wisconsin at Ohio State. We're going to go to the family Michaels for this one. Let's start off with Jeff Michaels. He's going to give us his take on this. Jeff, it's all you, buddy.
Yeah, guys, you made the mention about conference games, and this is going to be a first big conference game for these 2 teams, too. You got Ohio State and Wisconsin that have both had pretty formidable defenses to start this year. Ohio State hasn't quite gotten the turnovers that they would like to force, but Wisconsin hasn't even played a true road game yet, and now they're coming into the Horseshoe for their first road game. They've allowed under 10 points per game, and they're allowing under 250 yards per game, which is actually better than the Ohio State numbers that their defense has put up, but the competition isn't exactly on an equal level. And the offensive powerhouse that is Ohio State to start this year is really what's keeping them in that top 5 and beyond. I mean, they put up 70-plus points for the first time in 3 years. They scored at least 2 touchdowns in every quarter that against Toledo. But as I mentioned, their defense has only forced 2 turnovers this year. One of them the first interception coming last week against Toledo. But Ohio State definitely has the recent advantage against Wisconsin. They're 16-6 straight up since '92, and they're 7-3 at home. But what I was looking at was Coach Day's recent trends. Since he took over, they're 11-3 ATS off a home win of 17 or more points, and they're 13-5 off a home win in general. And I did find it interesting that Coach Day is 6-0 to the over off of consecutive home wins. I think I'm back in Ohio State before I'm back in that over trend with the defense that we're seeing in these first couple of weeks between these 2 teams. But I do like Ohio State in this one.
Well, friends, Jeff Michaels, who's doing some great work over at Sports Memo, says he likes Ohio State. Good breakdown, Jeff. Thank you for that. I know everybody out there really, really, man, they love your breakdowns, your analysis. Let's go to the father Michaels, Ralph Michaels. Let's get his take. Wisconsin, Ohio State, Buckeyes 19-57. Ralph, the floor is yours.
Well, let me quantify something that Jeff said, talking about the schedule. Yeah, Wisconsin numbers look awesome. They're outgaining foes by 233 yards per game. Defense allowing 2.7 yards per carry, and you're getting a defensive dog. That's what you look for. Well, not when you're playing the Ohio State offense. Wisconsin put up those numbers against the number 163 strength of schedule. There's 131 FBS teams. That means 30-some FCS teams have played a tougher schedule than the Badgers. Badgers now playing their first road game. Mertz with a 6-2 ratio, and this Badger O-line already has allowed 6 sacks. They allowed 3 sacks to Illinois State. Ohio State has not half the blitz the last 2 games, so we haven't really seen the blitz package, yet they've gotten to the quarterback 8 times. When I look at this offense now, the wide receiver room getting healthy, Trevian Henderson banged up, but as we saw in the Notre Dame game, Williams can do the job, and it just allows C.J. Stroud to throw more with having Williams back there. If Henderson does play, it's just a bonus. I don't think Wisconsin can slow down Ohio State. But when I break down the game, line of 19, total of 57, that should mean Ohio State's team total is going to be at 38. Team totals aren't out yet. They'll start popping out today. DraftKings might have it posted. But when I break down the game, I think of all the situations, I think Ohio State getting to 38 with that potent offense, they've been the number one. When you look at their averages, they are number one offensively. They are averaging 286 more yards per game than their opponents have allowed. That's number one in college football. Those numbers impress me the most. Ohio State over the 38 or over 38.5 will be my official play on this game.
Great stuff. Guys, when it comes to stats, there is nobody better in this business than Ralph Michaels. Great breakdown, Ralph. Great analysis. We appreciate that. You know, guys, Ralph does great work over at Wager Talk. Go after this show. Go over to Wager Talk. Go follow Ralph. His numbers don't lie. You're going to follow him all the way to the bank. Guys, we've got a couple of roundtable games in the NFL we're going to be covering. Then our best bet segment. Then we'll run down all of our games again, so have no fear if you come in late. So let's go to our first NFL roundtable game. I'm excited about this. This is going to be Buffalo at Miami, Sunday, 12 o'clock Eastern. The Bills are currently 5.5, 52.5. Let me lead off. Let me play Derek Jeter on this one first, guys. My friends, just like me, I'm going to keep this analysis very short and extremely sweet. I'm well aware of the fact that the Bills are playing a short week coming off Monday night game. I'm also aware of the fact that the Dolphins are 2-0 both straight up and against the spread this season. And, guys, I am furthermore aware of the fact that they've been money going back to last season, 9-2-1 against the spread run, the last 12 games played overall. Not only is this an AFC game, this is a division matchup between the two teams predicted to compete for the AFC East. Put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that later. I know Tua Tagovailoa leads the number one passing offense in the NFL, but you really can't gauge that from the two defenses the Dolphins have faced so far. The Patriots and the Ravens, they're not on the same level as the Bills. As a matter of fact, I don't think anybody is playing on the level of the Bills right now, guys, especially defensively. Currently, Buffalo ranks number 2 against the pass, more of a number 1 against the run. They're only allowing 8.5 points per game. I think the Miami offense is going to sputter a bit here. The Buffalo stop unit will get pressure on Tagovailoa and force him to make mistakes. Please understand that outside of last year's late January meeting in Kansas City, which, by the way, turned out to be an overtime shootout, Buffalo hasn't allowed a single opponent to score more than 21 points in the last 8 games, months back going to mid-last season. Offensively, you can expect the Bills to use the run to keep the Dolphins honest, which will allow Josh Allen to work his magic in the air. Buffalo has the last 7 meetings, has won the last 7 meetings straight up. But the two most recent matchups, both last season, they outscored Miami by what? By a total of 61-11, guys. I'll repeat that. 61-11. They're 4-0 ATS the last 4 in the month of September. 7-1-1 ATS the last 9 versus their division opponents. 6-1-1 ATS the last 8 overall. Take Buffalo to flex their muscles and show the AFC East that they are boss. I like this game a lot. This may make it as a premium play. Let's bring the cast back on, the panel back on. We're going to go to the First Lady of Las Vegas because she's going to give us her take on this game. Dionne D'Amico, we're on pins and needles. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Both teams are undefeated coming into this matchup. The Bills, they dominated their first 2 games against the Rams and the Titans, winning by a combined score of 72-17. Quarterback Josh Allen, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the game right now, already tallying over 614 yards passing and 7 touchdowns. Don't get me wrong, Miami did show up last week against Baltimore, where they entered the fourth quarter down 35-14 and then came back beating them 42-38. Tua Tagovailoa has put up some very good solid numbers, but he did throw a pair of first half interceptions against the Ravens D. You can expect the Bills stop unit to wreak some havoc and get some turnovers. Tua is 0-3 as a starter against Buffalo, and with the Dolphins run game struggling, he is in for a long day here. They will struggle this week against the Bills defense that has allowed an average of just 66.0 rushing yards per game. Without a successful ground game, Buffalo can key on Tua and the passing game. I'm going with Buffalo in this one as they have won the past 7 meetings with the Dolphins.
There you go. The birthday girl, the First Lady of Las Vegas, Dionne D'Amico. Good, great minds think alike, D. I love that. She's doing great work over at Sports Memo. After the show, go follow her. You're going to follow her to the bank because she is a winner. After all, she married me. Now, sports fans, we got a comment. Somebody asked me about my Detroit Lions jersey very quickly. Guys, this is a Barry Sanders throwback. I love it. Actually, when I wear this jersey, Jeff, I could take a full second off my 100-yard dash time. Just wanted to let you know that. Guys, don't go nowhere. Ralph and Jeff are going to be breaking down what I thought was one of the most difficult games on the NFL card this Sunday. Every time I looked at this game, when I was looking at the game, every few minutes, I switch sides, which side I like. So I'm really interested to see what Jeff and Ralph are going to say about this game. This is the fourth roundtable game. We got, I messed it up, guys. It's the Green Bay Packers at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are currently 42. I will fix that graphic in a minute. Let's go to Ralph Michaels, guys. He's going to give us his breakdown on the game. Ralph?
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm going to be on Tampa Bay under again. I lean Green Bay as well. You look at Tampa Bay and you look at their offense. What did they do? Couldn't get in the end zone against Dallas in the first half. 4 field goals. Last week against New Orleans, first half, 3-0 score. That it was a 4-game turnover fiasco, which led to the win against New Orleans, but just 260 yards and 13 first downs. Off that physical game, now back at home, hot and humid. You look at Green Bay, what did they do at Minnesota? Yeah, they struggled early because they got behind and they gave up 269 yards passing. A bad performance for them. They allowed almost 70%. Turned it around against Chicago last week, obviously. The Bears defense, I believe, is starting to improve. We saw a marked improvement last week. The Tampa Bay defense is great. Remember, Mike Evans suspended. Godwin and Julio Jones didn't play last week. They're both questionable. The O-line still in shambles. Give me under, and I'm going to split it, actually. I'm going under in the first half and a half unit on under in the game. So those two half bets together are my best bet here for Tampa Bay and Green Bay.
Sports fans, a bonus play from Ralph Michaels. Under first half, sprinkle a little something under in the game. Ralph, your stats are just, it amazes me. I know I've been a fan of yours for many years, and I'm glad we're getting to work together. And even like when I'm on the show with you, just your stats just blow me away. So thank you for that. I know everybody out there appreciates that as well. Let's go to Jeff Michaels. Jeff, let's see if the family gene thinks alike. Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Buccaneers 1-42. It's all you, Jeff.
Yeah, I was gonna say great minds think alike, I guess, because I'm looking at under too. My dad made mention to it quickly that offense for Tampa Bay struggled at points, and now they're playing without potentially their top 4 receivers, because you mentioned the top 3 and Mike Evans being suspended, Chris Godwin and Julio Jones questionable, but so is Russell Gage as well, who was the 4th pickup that was supposed to be the tail end of that receiving core, who, correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't played all in the same game yet this season. Rodgers has only beaten Brady once, and that was in 2014 when Brady was a member of the Patriots. But I think the one to watch today or in that game is going to be Tampa Bay's D-line against that Green Bay offensive line. I mean, Brady hasn't had the best start, but the defense has seemingly lifted this Tampa Bay team to a 2-0. They held Dallas to just 3 points, and they didn't allow the Saints to score a touchdown until the 4th quarter. They lead the NFL with 10 sacks. They've forced 6 turnovers, and Rodgers has already had issues with the pressure this year, as he's been sacked 7 times in just the last 2 games. And you look, the last time that these two teams met, they met twice in the 2020 season, and Rodgers was sacked 10 times in those 2 games, sacked 5 times in the regular season meeting, and then was sacked 5 times again in the playoffs. So I think that that's something that we can look at again this week. I do like the under in this one, even with this low total, the way Tampa's defense has been. And I do think if you're a prop better, one I was keeping my eye on is actually Christian Watson, wide receiver, the rookie wide receiver out of Green Bay, because he is from Tampa, Florida. That's his hometown. He made mention once that he played a big game there before he got to the collegiate level, and he was looking forward to it. Now he comes back and gets to play one at the NFL level. So I think that may be something to look at. And touching back to Dad, what you said in the last game, Ohio State's team total actually opened at 37.5 at even money on DraftKings. So you're under that 38 at the moment. So you're even getting a half a point cushion too, if you like that team total from before.
Sports fans, great stuff from Jeff Michaels. Well, the genetic factor here on the 4th edition of the Family Affairs Show has played a part. First round, Dionne and Joe both kind of agreed on Clemson to buy it down. Second round, Ralph and Jeff, Ohio State. The 3rd round, Dionne and Joe both say the Bills. And in the 4th round, Ralph and Jeff both say like the unders. Great stuff. Great. Guys, don't go anywhere. We got our best bet segment. By the way, Jeff, your father just sent me a text message. He says, on the air, do not refer to him as dad. You call him Mr. Michaels. That's what he told me. Guys, don't go anywhere. The most exciting portion of the show is our best bet segment. Then we're going to run everything down. So if you come in late, no worries. We're going to start off this with the first lady of Las Vegas, the birthday girl. By the way, Dionne, happy 29th birthday. I love you.
Thank you.
Guys, Dionne's doing some great work over at Sports Memo. As you know, she finished college football last year, number 2. She's doing well in college football. She had a little rough. She started NFL good, had a little rough week, picked it up again on the leaderboards over at MLB on Sports Memo. She's doing great work. She's going to tell you a little bit about what she's excited about on the premium side tonight and maybe over the next few days. And she's got another best bet free winner for the show. And she's got a nice special I'll be flashing up in a minute. Dionne, take it away.
Thank you. As Joey did mention, I did finish number 2 in college football last season. And this season right now, I'm hitting almost 60% in both NCAA football and NFL releases. This weekend, I do have two 10% plays and a 5% play going up this weekend. So this is the perfect time to go ahead and take advantage of that birthday special that I have going on right now, because you get 7 days all access for just $59. And with that 7 days, you're going to get both of those 10% plays and that 5% play for this weekend. And all of my games will be posted up by sometime this afternoon to late evening with all of the games for the weekend. And for my best bet play, I'm going to talk about the Oregon-Washington State game. With their beating of BYU last week, Oregon moved up 10 spots in the rankings to the number 15 team in the country this week. Bo Nix has started to settle in running the Ducks offense, but this is a team's first road game since their season opening, demoralizing loss to the number 1 ranked Bulldogs. Guys, this Cougars team is a very, very good football team. Offensively, they don't have a lot of flashy or pizzazz, but they are getting the job done. Defensively, they have been outstanding. After a season opening win and no cover against Idaho, they went on the road and shredded Wisconsin 17-14. Then they followed up last week with a crushing 30-7 win and cover at home against Colorado State. While Oregon has had the upper hand the last few meetings, winning 3 straight and covering the last 2, I do feel that Washington State can and will exploit the Oregon weaknesses. The 1-2 punch of quarterback Ward and running back Watson will keep the Ducks defense honest, move the chains, and get in the end zone. Going back to the Cougars defense, this is going to be the big mismatch here. I feel that they match up well with the Ducks offense and will frustrate Nix and force him to turn the ball over. Please remember that Oregon has been point spread poison when they leave Autzen Stadium. They are 0-4 ATS the last 4 away from home, en route to a 5-8 ATS mark, the last 13 overall on the road. They also don't follow up with back-to-back covers, going just 2-7 ATS the last 9 following an against the spread win. And on the other hand, Washington State is money, going 7-1 ATS the last 8 conference games, 5-1 ATS the last 6 home games, and 10-3 ATS the last 13 overall. This line should be much lower. That's why I'm going to go ahead and take my best bet as the Cougars.
Sports fans, the first lady of Las Vegas, Dionne D'Amico, says the line is definitely off here. She's doing great work over at Sports Memo. Take advantage of the 7-day all sports defense. You're going to get Dionne's baseball, college, and pro football, 7 days, all access, $59. She's got some 10%ers and a 5%er going off. B-Day, 7 upon checkout. And by the way, she's a winner. She married me. We love her.
I am.
Let's take that down. Let's go to Jeff Michaels, guys. Jeff has really, really, really hit the ground running over here the last few months. I got to work with Jeff for about 4 or 5 months now on the shows. And not only is he one of the sharpest young minds in sports betting, he's one of the sharpest guys I've ever worked with in this business. I'm honored to share a panel with him a couple of times a week for his family show, full count show, college football show, pro football show, you name it. Hell, we might even have a reality show by the end of next month because he's so popular. But Jeff is doing amazing work. You don't believe me? Go over to Sports Memo after the show. Numbers don't lie, and his numbers are amazing. He is a perfect handicapper, tailor-made for you. You go over to Sports Memo, follow him with some of these great customer appreciated discounts. Even if it's a 3, a 7, or a 30, take a short-term stay with Jeff. I promise you, you're going to come back for a longer stay. He's going to tell you what he's excited about on the premium side, and he's got a nice free best bet for you. Jeff, it's all you, my friend.
Yeah, guys, I appreciate it, Joe. We've been running a hot run. I got baseball action up for you already. And actually, I started loading my college football, the rest of which will be up today. But the first college football play that was up and loaded is actually the best bet that's coming to you today, too. I'm sticking in that Pac-12 conference. And, I like this USC Trojans team. And you just look at the last 2 weeks. Let's talk about Fresno State for a second, a team that's not in this game, obviously. But USC and Oregon State have both played Fresno State in the last 2 weeks. USC put up 45 points and won 45-17. Oregon State needed a late score just to survive and beat Fresno State, winning 35-32. And, we look, it seems like nothing can stop this USC offense that Lincoln Riley has put together. I mean, Caleb Williams is just in command. The running game even stepped up last week, which was potentially my last question in the offense. And Jordan Addison has, solidified himself as the clear go-to wide receiver. And Lincoln Riley's game plan just seems to be clicking on all cylinders with these pieces here. The Beavers have a solid defense, but they lack the pass rush to create the pressure on Williams and seemingly will let Williams run free. I think it could be an exciting first half, but I think USC takes over this game in the second half. But, there's a whole new team here in USC, but revenge still has to be on the mind for some of those guys that were there last season. Last year, Oregon State won their first game in the Coliseum since 1960. And they won 45-27, but I don't think that Oregon State has the ability to recreate that this season. I mean, they gave up a couple big plays against Montana State last week, and they relied on 3 turnovers just to turn that game into the blowout that it should have been early. I like USC big time in this one. So premium play for me on the main site, but also your best bet here for the weekend. Give me the Trojans.
Sports fans, Jeff Michaels doing great work over at Sports Moment says the Trojans are a winner, going to be a premium play. And that's what you're going to get here on Family Affair. You're not getting throwaway games. You're getting games that Jeff, Ralph, Deanne, and myself feel are high percentage plays to make you money. My friends, Jeff is a winner. He has been killing it. He says he's got a baseball game already loaded. Going to have a couple of big plays loaded a little bit later today in the college and pro football realm. Go over to Sports Memo after the show. Go on and follow Jeff. You're going to follow him all the way to the back. You're going to come back for more and say more. My friends, I want to tell you something. I've been doing this for many years, since I'm 10 years old with football sheets in the schoolyard. And I've worked with everybody in this industry. I've seen guys come and go. You do something once, you're lucky. Do it twice, you're lucky. Do it for decades. There's very few. One of those is Ralph Michaels. He's one of the most successful guys in the history of this business. He's doing great work over at Wager Talk. Great work. He's going to tell you what he's excited about tonight and over the next few days on the premium side. Then he's got another free best bet for you. Ralph, the floor is yours, my friend.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Again, happy birthday, Dionne. I'm going to make it quick and simple. If you've ever wanted to try me for 3 days, this is the time to do it. 5% on Saturday, 5% on Sunday. That's only the second time since I've been at Wager Talk I've had 2 5% footballs in the same weekend. $39 for the 3-day with code RM20. wagertalk.com. I am going to give you one of those plays that I already have released for tomorrow, and my 5% is up and available already now. So when you buy that 3-day package, you will get all of Saturday's plays this morning. I am going to go with the Kansas Jayhawks. And, the question is this. How the hell can you lay 7 points with a team that's gone 2-19 the previous 2 years? Well, we have a different team. We have a different head coach. Lance Leopold was a success at Wisconsin Whitewater. He was a success turning the Bulls around in Buffalo. And now in his second season in Kansas, we've seen the transformation. Remember, Kansas knocked off Texas late last year and then covered their last 3 games in all. Now, this 3-game is no fluke. Yeah, you could pull an upset by winning a turnover battle. You can pull an upset if someone has a horrible day. But you go into West Virginia and you go into Houston, and you win by 13 and by 18 points with an offense that rushed for 200 and 286 yards. And on the season, they're rushing for 7.1 yards per carry. Jalen Daniels has become a mobile quarterback. He always was a mobile quarterback, but last year when he got his experience in making his first starts, he didn't run like he is now. 227 carries, 237 yards. You look at Duke. I talked about strength of schedule before with Wisconsin. Well, there's 131 FBS teams. Duke has played the number 179th schedule. Yeah, so 48 teams in the FCS have played stronger. At Northwestern, they did win that game. They got outgained by 50 yards. This Kansas team is legit. When teams win as a dog back-to-back weeks, and they're now a home favorite up to 8, like Kansas is, they have gone 17-5-2, 77% against the spread. That's Kansas in that role. Kansas Jayhawks, my best bet, and an actual client release.
Great stuff from the stat man, Ralph Michaels, guys. Give me 1 second, Ralph. All right, I'm done. Sorry, I was a little distracted. I was over at Wager Talk getting that great special you have offered. 2 5% plays off the charts, never before. Guys, after the show, go over to Wager Talk. That is just amazing. 2 5% plays, that discount. Follow Ralph. I'm going to tell you now, he'll make a believer out of you. You're going to come back for more great stuff, Ralph. Guys, Dionne, Jeff, and Ralph will be back in a second. Lower the volumes because I'm excited today, my friends. First of all, let's talk about this weekend. This weekend, I will have another 10% play along with 2 5% plays in football posted by this afternoon. I work with a lot of the people here in Vegas, the sharp guys that move lines. I know we're going to get a half a point to a point advantage by later on today. And guys, that is why I'm so successful. Those half a point and half a point are the difference between winning and losing. All right, the best big game hunter on the planet, 15-1 in 2022 with 10% plays. My 5% plays, they're riding something like a 58-30 run, 66% off the charts. So be on the lookout for those this afternoon, along with some other late info football releases. They're all going to be posted later on today. I'm basically looking at having 5 Saturday college football winners and 5 Sunday pro football winners. But for tonight, I'm ready to get you paid so we can go into the weekend with a bankroll. I have my college football Friday night lights release. 3-1 overall this season already. Going back to last season, 10-2. It's posted right now in Sports Memo for just $12. Now, guys, my best bet probably will make it as a premium play. Let's go to the pro football realm. I live here in Vegas, guys, and I watched the Las Vegas Raiders practice. I get access to them. I watch them practice regularly. And I was at the game last week when they blew the lead and lost in overtime to the Arizona Cardinals. In the second quarter of that game, while they were still up 20-0, I leaned over to tell my buddies they're going to lose this game. My friends, this is not Fresno State. Quarterback Derek Carr, while he has talent, he's not a winner. He makes very bad decisions and does not react well to defensive changes. He really doesn't, guys. Not only that, but the Raiders' play calling so far this season for the first several weeks has been absolutely atrocious. To be quite honest with you, the wrong team is favored here. I have the Tennessee Titans at least a 2-point favorite on my power ratings. The Titans' strength, without question, comes from the legs of running back Derrick Henry, and they have certainly had trouble establishing the run so far this season, thus resulting in their winless record, both straight up and against the spread, sports fans. But coming off that embarrassing 41-7 loss in Buffalo this week is going to prompt this team to get back on track. That defeat will light a fire under their butts. Trust me, guys, going to light a fire under their butts and will be the reason why they start winning again. This team has a lot of talent, guys, and let's face it, the Raiders defense, horrible. I know the Titans stop unit. I mean, their numbers are just as bad, but that is a direct result of the fact that their offense isn't running the ball with success, and they're experiencing a lot of 3-and-outs. Their defense is getting tired. That's not going to be the case here. I'm telling you, they're going to turn it around here this week. Mentally, I don't think the Raiders will recuperate so fast from last week's overtime loss. By the way, they're a point spread poison. A few ATS stats for you to confirm my take on the Titans. Vegas, 1-7 the last 8 versus teams with a losing record. 1-5 the last 6 following a straight-up loss. 1-4 the last 5 on the road. 4-9 the last 13 overall. I told you, point spread poison. Yuck. PU. Tennessee will win this game outright. Look for Derrick Henry to run amok. He'll get 150, 170, 180 yards this week, guys. Let me bring our panel back, my friends. First of all, I do want to thank our good friends over at the Gold Sheet for all those great graphics you saw during our roundtable segments. Once again, every successful sports bettor I know and sports handicapper I know uses the Gold Sheet, the most respected of all betting newsletters. www.goldsheet.com. Use what the pros use. Let me run down a few things real quick. Our Underdog money line parlay, which this is a lot of fun, guys, but let's talk turkey. We're not here to have fun. We're here to make money. And it's always more fun anyway when you're making money. Our Underdog money line parlay, Ralph says the Baylor Bears. Dionne, the James Madison Dukes. Jeff says the Denver Broncos. Joe says the Razorbacks. A $100 wager on this 4-teamer will bring you back nearly $3,000. We're going to run down the best bets as well. Jeff said the USC Trojans -5.5 is money. Joe D says the Titans are going to win outright. Ralph says the Kansas Jayhawks -7. Great analysis, Ralph. Great stats. The first lady of Las Vegas, the birthday girl, says the Washington State Cougars +6.5. My friends, it's about that time to say sayonara. Let's do this real quick, though. Real quick. I got to do it again. To our first lady of Las Vegas, happy birthday. We love you, sweetheart. You're loved by so many, but, you know, we knew you were a winner. You married me. I love you, honey. Let's get that. Let's get that down. Let's bring everybody both back on. Let's go to Ralph real quick. Ralph, closing thoughts or comments for our viewers out there.
Good weekend of football. You know, we saw some over adjustments in the NFL. It always happens. Same thing happens in college football. And remember, when these high-scoring teams get into these first conference games the next weeks or two, look for some of those unders to pop up. You'll see a much more conservative offense.
Great stuff. Let's go to the birthday girl. Dionne, any closing thoughts or comments?
Yeah, I'm excited about this weekend, and I would love for everybody to come celebrate my birthday with me by using that 7-day discount, $59. And remember, with that $59 for the 7 days, you're going to get 2 10% plays and a 5% play for me for just this weekend alone. And you'll still get the rest of the week along with that. So this is the perfect time to jump on board with me and celebrate my birthday with me, because we're going to kick some butt.
She's definitely my wife, folks. I love her. Let's go to Jeff Michaels. Closing thoughts or comments for our viewers, please.
Yeah, guys, I'm excited. We got plenty of action in the football card this weekend. I got my eye on a couple big plays that may be going up today too. But I will also be on Full Count later today if you want to catch some baseball action that's still going on, 3 o'clock Eastern time. You'll catch me on the host seat over there. So check us out there, and then make sure in the meantime you check out Sports Memo and Wager Talk to get some of these awesome deals that everybody has going on.
Well, it's a sad time as we must say goodbye. Thank you for tuning in to the Family Affair Show, my friends. We're going to be coming to you every Friday morning. Tons of free winners, a few surprises too, week to week. So be sure to tune in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss any of Sports Memo TV's great video content. I can't believe we got to go. Another show in the books. On behalf of the family, Ralph, Jeff, Joe, and Dionne, and of course, Sports Memo and Wager Talk. Everyone out there, good luck and have a winning day.